Right. So in this week we have discussed about first topic is related to a place that was in news, Sela Lake, and nearby Sela Lake we have Sela Pass. Okay. So first of all, if you look at the location, where is Sela Lake and Pass is located? So if you look at the map of India here, what do we have? Bhutan, and this side we have which state? Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. And upper side, what would you find? Tibet. Somewhere near we can say this area. This is where we have the lake, a glacial lake that is called as Sela Lake, high altitude glacial lake, okay, located above 10,000 feet of height. Okay, so high altitude, what kind of lake is it? Glacial lake. So high altitude glacial lake. Sela Pass is located nearby. Pass we have basically constructed tunnel there also, so that it provides all weather connectivity from this region to other region as such. Which area is located in this place always keeps coming in news every now and then. That is Tawang region. Okay, Tawang, that is in the Arunachal Pradesh, and you will see whenever any high this level this dignitaries visit India, from India to Tawang region. Okay, for example, whether it is Prime Minister or some ministers, or even sometime Dalai Lama have visited there. President also visited during the APJ Abdul Kalam time. So China raised strong protest. Okay, why? Simply because China claims this entire region, including Tawang, to be its own territory as such. So diplomatic protest to do. Eastern Himalayas, okay, obviously it is part of, and recently it is geographically has become important. And if you look at the Sela Lake, some other features if you look, so this is the actual photograph of lake you can see. So formed by, how do glacial lakes form? Generally if you see, glacials move, when glaciers move they carry out erosion. Due to erosion you have development of a depression like feature, and then when temperature increases, especially during summer or when the warming phase of earth is there, in that case this depression gets filled up by meltwater of glacier, forming the glacial lake. So that is how it has formed. Water sometimes is also getting trapped by moraines. Moraines are basically when glaciers move, they bring also with themselves large amount of sediments, right? So these sediments are called as moraine. Okay, you have three type of moraine, right? Terminal moraine, then you have medial moraine, right? So sometimes water gets trapped within those moraines and between the bedrocks. That also it's formed. That also is one way how it can form. And overall this area, because it is very high altitude area, what kind of climate? You can remember from the class natural vegetation. We have discussed above 3000 meters. What you will find? Alpine climatic zone. So harsh alpine climate you would also see here. Harsh alpine climate there we have discussed. If you look here, okay, there is very less vegetation, but here and there you'll have bunchy grasses, thorns, bushes and all that. Sparse vegetation you will find, but overall many places are kind of barren landscape here as well. So harsh alpine climate, sparse. Sparse means low density of vegetation. You will not, for example, you can see, if you look at this area, what do you see? Barren land only. Okay, you will not see large trees or high density grasses or any kind of plants. That is the kind of area where it is located. Now water is coming out from this lake and it is draining out into a river nearby. The river is called as Nura Nang river. Many times in geography prelims this kind of questions they are asking. Rivers on one side, glaciers on one side, okay, or which river is associated with which of the glaciers as such. Tributary of a river that is called as Tawang river. And then further if you go down south, around 3200 meters you will find what? In alpine vegetation we have discussed, initially part is grassland, okay, short dense nutritious grasses you have, where people are carrying out, animal rearing tribes are carrying out which kind of activity? What is the term? Transhumance, okay, we have discussed. Seasonal migration from valley to slope, slope to valley in the summer. So alpine pastoral land you will find here, and which is the major animal? That is yak. Okay, so yak, they use this as a grazing ground in the summer time, right? Bugyals is a term that we have discussed. It's also called as bugyals, or in the Kashmir this area is also called as marg, okay, Gulmarg, Sonmarg and all that. So overall summer grazing for yak, and you'll find a tribe that resides here which also are dependent upon yak rearing tribe we can call it. The tribe that lives here is what is they called as Monpa. Okay, Monpa, followers of generally Buddhism we can say. So they are located here. Fragile mountain ecosystem, yeah, that is the overall we can say the way of defining this entire region as such. Then coming to cultural significance, in by local people this particular lake, Sela Lake, is also called as what? Paradise Lake, okay, because of the, okay, the picturesque nature beauty that you have in this particular area, the blue water, okay, surrounded by barren, this brown kind of mountain landscape and all. So also it is considered as sacred in the Tibetan form of Buddhism. Spiritual importance also it holds for the people who are living in the nearby areas. And this is what I told you. Which community reside in this area? Monpa community. Their entire life is dependent upon yak, okay, rearing of yak. Basically, they get milk from yak, produce cheese from it, sell it. Wool also, okay, they obtain from yak and then sell in the market and all that. So overall, we can say Sela Lake is not just any common geographical feature, but it can be described as cultural landscape of Tawang as well. Okay, so culturally, religiously, okay, ecologically also, it has a huge importance. So this is the Monpa community. Now, Sela Pass is located nearby. So Sela Pass is again what? Pass is low-lying region between high mountains. Okay, that is how it is defined pass as. What does Sela Pass connect? Tawang on the one side, Arunachal. If you look Great Himalayas, this is how the Great Himalayas look like, passing through Arunachal Pradesh. Here you have Namcha Barwa peak, and this side, what do you call that? Himalayas, this part of Himalaya, Purvanchal. So this region is where you have Himalayas, and this side, if you come to the south, what will you find? Assam plain. So here somewhere, what do you have? Sela tunnel. So Tawang is in the mountainous area, and then Assam plain. So connectivity is through the Sela tunnel, and it is considered as one of the highest motorable pass as far as India is concerned. The highest motorable pass, one of the highest, not highest, one of the highest motorable pass in India, right? And overall, this pass is maintained by, in the border areas, which organization is responsible for most of the construction activities and all that? BRO. Okay, BRO means Border Roads Organization. Okay, so Government of India's organization, Border Roads Organization as such. The strategic importance Sela Pass also is there, because this we talk about Sela tunnel has been created right now. Most importantly, if you look, this is a wrong line of actual control, China-India border that you have, and it played a very significant role in 1962 Sino-Indian War, because China understood that if you take control of this entire pass, it is this through this region Chinese forces actually try to enter Indian territory as such. And around this area itself, you will find Jaswant Singh War Memorial. Why? Because around Sela tunnel, you have one of the most important battle that occurred, where the single person, Jaswant Singh, was a rifleman from Indian Army. So for 72 hours continuously, he kept on fighting. Okay, so the 300 Chinese forces, Chinese troops we had, from Indian side you have about dozens of them, and then last all of them were martyred, and last who was left? Jaswant Singh. So Jaswant Singh kept on fighting for 3 days continuously, 72 hours of rifle and this gun war, and that played a very important role as this area was saved for several these days. So key military logistic routes. So Sela tunnel ensures all-weather connectivity, and it is very important because it is through this region then Indian Army can mobilize its troops, equipment, machines and all that in the case of aggression by China or a war-like situation with China. So that's the first topic. Second topic is related to the recent inauguration of what you call as NIDMS, National IED. IED is improvised explosive devices. Okay, improvised explosive devices, kind of bomb we can say in simple term. So Government of India has recently inaugurated National IED Data Management System. Improvised explosive devices data management system. So Union Home Minister, because you know that as far as the internal security of India is concerned, it is under the which minister? Which ministry? Home Ministry. Okay, so Home Minister has inaugurated it. Now, who has developed this database? The answer would be National Security Guard, one of the paramilitary forces that you have in India. So developed by National Security Guard. National Security Guard, as you know, is considered as what? What is their main responsibility or duty? They are elite counter-terrorism force of India as such. Okay, so whenever you have terror accident, this terror attacks taking place somewhere, who is called upon? NSG. Or suppose somewhere you have hostage-like situation. In that case also NSG has expertise in rescuing hostage, carrying out negotiation, all these kind of things. So this is the organization responsible for development of this database. It is the first centralized bomb blast database of India. Before that we did not have such kind of databases. It was, all the information was kind of fractionated in nature. Like if you have bomb blast in Karnataka, it will be with Karnataka Police Department and all that. Okay, similarly in Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and all that. So now we are trying to bring all the data together to have a comprehensive understanding, centralized data. This is being done by Government of India in several different fields. Okay, as such, government does not want data to be fractionated, okay, to remain with the different stakeholder. It want to have a centralized control and understanding of data. So this database will cover all the incidents since what year? In 1999. So in India, since 1999, whatever bomb blast we have seen, every data will be made part of it to have a broader understanding about the bomb blast and all that. So same thing, National Improvised Explosive Devices Data Management System, Secure National Digital Platform, Systematic ID Data Collection, Strengthen Counter-Terror Framework. The reason is because why we want to have a comprehensive understanding of bomb blast related data? Pattern recognition. We can understand that what kind of material is being used to make bomb as such. So we'll know that this material we have to focus upon wherever you find it, from where you have the smuggling route and all that, whether it is coming from Nepal border, Bangladesh border and all that, whether it is procured within India, which party is supplying this kind of materials and all that. So you will have better understanding, okay? And thus it will help us in coming up with more robust counter terror strategy. Okay, we can also then understand that what you can call as the areas, areas which we have to focus upon, the people or the groups, the organizations that we have to focus upon. And here also you see a linkage of organized crime and terrorism, because in most of cases when you look at the data, it is seen that terror groups obviously are behind bomb blast, but who is supplying the material? That is the organized crime group as such. Key feature, if you look at two-way online integrated platform, that means you can say central to state agency and state to central agency. Seamless transfer of data can be possible. That means the state police department, if they want to collect data, gain access to information, they can get it. Similarly, central government also can gain access to the data. Accessible to multiple agencies. Multiple agencies which are responsible for counter-terrorism framework in India, we can say. National Intelligence Investigation Agency, NIA, was brought in after 2008. Similarly, what do we have? Anti-Terrorist Squad, ATS. Similarly, State Police, and then Central Armed Police Forces. So NIA, ATS, State Police, CAPF, these are the main stakeholders who would have access, who will gain access to the data, and also because they're continuously coordinating with each other, they're continuously interacting with each other, taking data from each other, it would also ultimately lead to what? Improved coordination between the agencies, okay, all these agencies. So that is also one problem we have in India. Many times agencies do not work together, they work against each other, okay. So that also will be to some extent possible to do away with. Next is technology integration, real-time data sharing, same thing, faster investigation and prosecution we can expect, because we already have understanding broad concept, okay, pattern we have recognized. AI enabled today, everything what we are using. Whenever you're talking about data integration, data management and all that, use of artificial intelligence can be emphasized. The entire approach is a part of the broader approach Government of India has taken in the recent year, which is called as One Nation, One Data Repository. Whenever you're talking about data, it should be stored with one single agency, central agency as such, no matter from which state, which region data is coming from. So it is continuation of such, ONOD it is called as One Nation, One Data approach. So it is part of that as such. Then integration with, apart from that, you have the interoperable criminal justice system, okay, that is the, what you can call it, interoperable criminal justice system. So interoperable criminal justice system, and it will be linked with the phase 2 of this system as such. Again, what else is part of the system? CCTNS, okay, in the internal security, or generally also you would have studied about crime and criminal tracking network system. Again, this is also to understand criminal behavior, tracking of the major criminals and such. Okay, for example, we know that someone has carried out terror attack in certain part of India, right? Who will be the first responder? State police, definitely. And the person is trying to run away. He has reached the airport, nearest airport, and is trying to take flight and want to go to some neighboring country as such. Now, the data has to be shared immediately by state police to Bureau of Immigration. So that Bureau of Immigration at airports, they can stop the person, okay. So that is one of the objective of such kind of data management, CCTNS also. E-prisons, e-forensic, everything has to be done. What now? It has to be digitized as such, and overall it also has to be integrated with NAFIS. Okay, NAFIS, I am forgetting the full form, but overall also it is related to justice system itself as such. So overall we can say it is a broader approach, and within that we have done the work. Now most importantly from prelims perspective and also from mains examination, because in internal security you have to study about the central armed police forces, security forces and their mandate, that is the chapter given there. So one of the security forces we have to talk about is what? National Security Guard. So briefly about them also we can look. So it is a federal counter-terrorism force, as I told you. It has been raised as an elite counter-terrorism force, and they are fully focused on one duty, that is to fight terrorism, nothing else is there. And that is not the case with other CAPF, like CRPF. They have versatile duty. They are deployed in election time also, they are deployed to fight Naxalism also, they are sent to the fight terrorists also in Jammu and Kashmir, counter-terror operation, and many times they are also put for VIP securities and all that. So that is not the case with NSG. It has been raised solely with a single purpose. What is that single purpose? Counter-terrorism. If nothing is going on, then they have to focus on training, okay, coming up with new ideas and everything like that. Established when? 1986, okay, basically after the Operation Blue Star. Operation Blue Star, we know that was conducted against the Sikh militants. Okay, we have the Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale hiding inside this Harmandir Sahib, okay, Golden Temple, Amritsar. And that time, who carried out the operation? It was military. Okay, so that is when the need was felt that rather than involving military in the domestic this work and terror related in these cases, we have to have a dedicated force. Okay, so that was the reason behind this. Now it is having two different groups. One is called as SAG, other is called as SRG, a Special Action Group and a Special Ranger Group. Okay, so two branches we can say NSG has, a Special Action Group and a Special Ranger Group. A Special Action Group largely is made up of soldiers taken from where? Indian Army as such. Okay, so that is the first point. And as far as SRG is concerned, it has personals taken from who? Central Armed Police Forces as well as local police, that means the state police also. So this is something we have to keep in mind. SAG and SRG. Plus NSG is headquartered in Delhi, but to decrease the response time of these forces, in 2008, when we have 26/11 attack, what was seen? That NSG commandos has to be brought in from Delhi. So that led to a lot of time being wasted as such. And in such kind of cases where you have continuous evolving situation, terrorists are active, what would you need? The forces to respond as quickly as possible. So that is when 4 regional hubs more we established in the different part of India, like Mumbai. Then we have Kolkata. Then we have Chennai. Then we have Hyderabad, apart from Delhi. So Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, later on Ahmedabad also. So 5 regional hubs. And now government is planning to open in Ayodhya also. It is not operational, but in the near future it might be operational. So Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, future Ayodhya can be another regional hub as such. And it also is having control over NBDC, that is National Bomb Data Center. So earlier also data we were trying to collect, but now we have made it more professional in nature, online in nature, and also it is easier for all the state government and other respective agencies to keep on adding data, valuable data as such. So that's the National Security Guard. It was designed after, the concept has been inspired by 2 forces. One you have SAS in Britain, okay, UK, and other you have in Germany, okay, some SGS or SSG, something force is called that. So UK model, Germany model, based on the inspiration we have raised NSG. Then coming to the third topic, recently we know that because of the aircraft crash which led to the death of Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. So related to that, we have aircraft crash during second landing attempt. We know that aircraft first tried to land, then again it has to go away. Okay, and again second time when it was landing, it underwent crash. So briefly about this, we have to study about landing and how all these things matter. So aircraft crash during second landing attempt. What is the main reason given as per the recent report, latest report? It is believed that the crash is largely on the account of poor visibility. Right, the pilots, they cannot see ground properly, runway properly, and also it has raised concern over airstrip infrastructure. That is where the biggest question was engaged, that where the landing was attempted. Because see, we have 2 things. One is airport. Airport is very large. It is having a lot of robust infrastructure and all that, radar system. A lot of experts are there. Meteorologists are also working continuously. They try to say that whether it is possible to land or not, that whether situations will change in the near future or not, okay, in fog and all. But such airstrip which is in a very small town, that is largely handling private aircraft and all. Many times they do not have the enough infrastructure and facilities which can ensure safe landing in the environment of poor visibility, or if the weather hazard is present like cyclones, strong winds, right, thunderstorms and all that. So that is where the concern was raised. Also many people, experts, saying that it is a failure of what? ATC, air traffic controller, and also weather assessment, because if weather was not good, visibility was poor, okay, probably they should have been diverted to some other place. Okay, landing should not have been allowed to be attempted by pilots and all that. So to some extent it has raised a question on safety gaps. Safety gaps where at major airport do not have such kind of safety gaps. Okay, everything we have, especially after the several disaster we have faced in past, we have made it properly very robust research. So non-major airports, largely handling small aircrafts or largely handling private aircraft, there we have this question. Now, okay, overall relevance you try to understand. So you have to study in the UPSC about what? Major organizations such as DGCA, Directorate General of Civil Aviation, aviation safety standards. What are these? Because questions about them can be asked. It is also part of your disaster management, okay, part of what you can call as internal security and all that. And recent days we are witnessing large number of aircraft disasters. Okay, like last year itself, you have one of the biggest disaster India faced, Air India disaster in Ahmedabad, right? So that's the point. Before that also, if you talk about prominent personalities we have lost. General Vipin Rawat, few years back, okay, who was the Chief of Defence Staff of India, he lost life there, right? In the Air India disaster, you have the Vijay Rupani, who was the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, he lost life, and before also I think few people lost their life. So airport infrastructure inadequacy, regional connectivity risk, and role of overall AAIB, we'll discuss about them. Now coming to what is the landing attempt, if we look at some terms, because science and technology based questions can also be asked in prelims examination related to the common terms being used these days. So first is landing attempt. What is landing attempt? Simple. You are going through controlled descent, okay, from the airspace, from atmosphere toward the landing strips, that is landing, guided by who? Guided by air traffic controller and navigational aids that you have. Use of visual or instrumental references are also taken as such. It depends from airport to airport. Some airports have ILS system, instrumental landing system. Their pilot do not have to overly rely upon their visual cues. Okay, they can simply rely on the reading of instrument, and they understand that what height they are located at, what speed are they moving at. If they keep moving at this height with this slope, where would they land, right? So that is called as which kind of reference? Instrument reference. Some small airports do not have such kind of system. So their landing has to be clearly done or completely done with the help of visual cues. If a pilot is able to see, he will be able to land properly. If he has some problem due to the fogs and all that situation, their difficulty arises. So many times, if pilot is dependent upon visual cues, what happens? He might not be sure, okay, whether he should land or not. So in that case, he approaches the airstrip, okay, runway, and again what he does, takes flight away as such. Okay, so that is called as this kind of approach. Missed approach. Okay, so missed approach, and again after missed approach, the term is called as go around. Okay, you go like this, and again you have to come back because landing has to end from this side. So you go, come back. This is called as go around. After go around, what you do? Again you carry out the re-attempt or second attempt as such. So during the second attempt is when lot of air disasters we have seen, not only in India but also at a global scale. If you look, lot of accidents we have seen whenever there is a attempt to land again as such. So poor visibility is main reason. If you look here, like this kind of situation. Why poor visibility? Also if you look here, geographical phenomena we have discussed. Fog, I told you, when you talk about temperature inversion, a dense fog formation occurs. During dense fog, visibility becomes very, very low, less than 900 meters generally as such, 900 to 1000 meters as such. Haze, it can be due to high pollution level, okay, so hazy sky. Plus it can be due to what? Rain and low cloud ceiling. If clouds are present very, very close to the surface or heavy rainfall is taking place, in that case also visibility becomes very poor as such. Or if we talk about what kind of conditions? Night condition. If there is no proper lighting on the runways or airport infrastructure is in shambles, we can say in that case. So all of these, okay, or combination of these can lead to what? Reduce visual judgment by pilot. He might not be able to completely be sure that where to land, how to land, and all these kind of things. And plus dependency on instrument system in that cases increases. But again, if such systems are not in place in airport, the only thing that this pilot can depend upon is visual cues as such, and there again the problem rises. Now if you look at the risk of second landing attempt, Why second landing attempt is dangerous? First is because it increases the workload of pilot as such. Okay, already he should have landed first time. Now again he has to go back, again he has to try to attempt to land as such. So workload increases. It lead to what? Cognitive stress and fatigue. Second time he is landing, already psychologically he is disturbed because he has failed to land the first time. So he is landing now in what? More of a pressure, more of a psychological pressure we can say. So that also plays a very important role here. Plus, many times what we see is that if you talk about aircraft that is traveling over a long distance, it carries a limited amount of fuel. So it is quite possible that he is waiting for weather to be cleared. Earlier, the meteorologist says that okay, in maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, weather should be cleared. But again, weather is unpredictable in nature. Now what happened? 20 minutes passed, weather is still not cleared. And now what is the problem? Now that aircraft cannot go to some other airport. Why? Because it does not have enough fuel. Only thing that it can do is again try to land at the same place, right? So this also increases overall pressure because fuel, weather, all these things are also additional burden for them. And also margin for error is reduced in the second case. Why? Because you already have burned enough fuel. If you are not able to land second time, that means anyway you will crash because you are not having enough fuel as such. So what pilot is thinking that no matter what happens, I have to land. Okay, no matter what condition is there, I have to land because I don't have any other option. So because of this, what happened? Obviously, the risk will become excessively high, and especially in those cases where terrain is unforgiving in nature. Like a few years back in 2021, I think, Air India Express coming from Dubai, it crashed in Bangalore. What is the reason behind crash in Bangalore? Right, you have not narrow, it's short. The runway is very, very short. So if you overshoot the runway, you will go directly in ditch. Okay, that means obviously what will happen? There is no chances for survival as such. Or I think last year also we have a case in South Korea, okay, where runway was there and at the end of runway they had a big wall. So when the aircraft overshot the runway, it went directly and collided with wall. In that case, you can understand what will happen. Big flame will emerge. So that is why now many experts are suggesting, especially where new airport are being constructed, you should have a large plain area that even if some by accident, if aircraft overshoot the runway, it should not just simply burst into flame. Okay, there should still be chance for survival. So these are the points that make second landing very risky in nature. Infrastructure wise, as I told you, on many small airport airstrip, ILS, instrument landing system, where a pilot does not have to depend entirely on his visual cues, is absent as such. Many places we have seen where you have just basic air traffic controller, how they used to function in early 90s and 2000s. They did not even have any radar support and all that. No dedicated meteorologist is there. Okay, so they are not able to say that whether you should attempt landing again, whether you should stay, whether you should go or try to find some other nearby airport and all that. That also creates a situation of less information or limited information for pilot. Okay, and with this limited information, with limited visual, we can say this understanding, he has to work here. Inadequate weather update, plus many times also it is witnessed that if a flight is landing, okay, sometimes landing gear fails, for example. Okay, the flight has glided away from its path and all that kind of things. There also what you require? Firefighting. If firefighters are available, they can easily go, okay, and can extinguish the flames. So many times it is used to save the life of people, because people are dying not only because of shock of this, you can say strike and all these kind of things. Okay, they are also dying because of what? Largely burning. Okay, fire, fuel, and all these things start to easily engulf the entire aircraft and all that. So that is also we have to make robust. So firefighting systems should be there. Weather update should be adequate in nature. Okay, if solution is asked, for example, in the UPSC they can ask in the mains examination, what is the way forward or solutions to reduce the air disaster, air crashes. So same thing that you have problem, you reverse it. Okay, that would be your solution as such. That is the point here. Like this you can see, this is the example of instrument landing system. It is made up of two things. One is glide slope, other is called as localizer. So glide slope tells you the angle at which you are descending in the along the runway as such, and localizer tell you what the altitude. Okay, so based on that you can get the idea that whether a landing is safe or not. So very, very important in ensuring this. Now governance and safety oversight, talk about AAIB probe systematic causes. Okay, the overall perspective of AAIB is to not to punish someone or to find someone guilty. It mainly does its work by finding exact reason behind crashes, disasters, accidents and all that, and it takes data from pilot, ATC, weather analysis, and overall whatever is the report that is given by AIB, again it is referred to Directorate General of Civil Aviation, okay, the main organization, and if there is a gaps, that gap, it is the responsibility of DGCA to take urgent action to fill those gaps and all that. So risk there is obviously in regional airport expansion, if talk about from future aviation perspective, okay, future aviation perspective, and also there is a need for what? Center state coordination as such, we can say to some extent. So that's the overall this landing. Second we have is what I can call as Data Privacy Day was celebrated recently. International Data Privacy Day. Recently, we have celebrated International Data Privacy Day. From examination perspective, just this you have to keep in mind why it is celebrated, when it is celebrated and all that. So, India also observed this when it is celebrated 28th of January. Okay, data privacy. So, as clear from the name itself, what we are focusing here, right? Privacy of data as such. We are focusing upon having a responsible policies, responsible data practices, how to use data, how to collect data, to whom we can share data with. Okay, all these things has to be done, and also other focus is to raise awareness of public, general citizens, how to ensure that data is not leaked or is not misused against them, right? So that is the thing. And overall, the objective of government in India is to create digital infrastructure, obviously, because without that we cannot work anymore today. In every sector, what we are doing? We are digitizing it. All data which was collected earlier in paper or hard copy form, they are continuously being converted into digital form. So the objective of government is to also create such governance where people can trust, okay, in sharing data with government authorities, government organizations. They are not fearful that some misuse can happen. Okay, their caste data, age data, gender data, okay, or your as far as even information about your homes, house address and everything is concerned, mobile numbers. So you should be able to freely share this data with government agency without fearing that someone can misuse and sell those data. Now, if you talk about International Data Privacy Day, first time it was 28 January was designated such a day in which year? 2006 as such. Okay, by who? Council of Europe. Okay, so Council of Europe or European Council, you can say, in 2006 decided to celebrate 28 January as Data Privacy Day. Why they wanted to celebrate this? Because they wanted to commemorate. They signed a convention. Countries which are part of Council of Europe, they signed a convention called as Convention 108. So question can be asked, why Data Privacy Day is celebrated? Simple answer, to commemorate Convention 108 adopted by Council of Europe as such. What is Convention 108? We can say it is the first global data protection treaty. Okay, and it is also binding in nature. This is the only binding global data protection treaty. All the countries who are signatory of this convention, who have ratified this convention, they have to necessarily follow such kind of policies where data is protected and privacy of data giver is properly this ensured. Promotes data right awareness also among the local population. Okay, that you should be aware about how data is being used. So if you look at the overview, adopted in which year? 108, 1981. So you can understand that 1981 was not even the time when you have digital data and all that is coming up. It is all that hard copy in paper, pen based data. Still they have come up with such kind of we can say convention. Safeguards right to privacy, regulate automatic data processing. Okay, covers cross border data flows, because European Union countries, if you look, they many times this work as a what? A single entity as such. So data that is present in one country can be transferred to other countries and third country like such. So cross-border data flows, how it will be done. And one thing, however, we have to keep in mind that Convention 108 we are talking about from perspective of European Council only. India is neither a signatory nor has ratified this convention. Right. So that is the point. So Convention 108. Now, if we talk about modernization of Convention 108, so major update was carried out in 2018. Why? Because of the digital database. Digital database is more prone to being breached, because we are seeing a lot of cases related to cyber hacking, cyber attacks and all that. That is why a stronger accountability of data controllers was required. So a lot of safeguards have been put in place which did not exist earlier in 1980s convention. Especially this safeguard also take into account what? Risks that comes from the artificial intelligence, right? And protection from algorithmic decision making and all that. Yeah, so that is being. Now, if we talk about from perspective of India, why we need or why we are focusing upon data privacy so much these days? The reason is from the fact itself. We talk about India, it is the third largest digitalized economy of the world. Okay, that is the first reason why we have to focus on data privacy and the responsible use of data. Third largest digitalized economy. Plus today internet has become very commonly is being available to everyone. So if you talk about India, about 101.7 crore users are using broadband internet. Okay, they are accessing and giving their data all the time. Plus, why data is being used by everyone today in India, or a lot of people in India today? The reason is also cost of data. India has one of the lowest cost of data as such, internet as such. What is the average cost? 0.1 US dollar per GB. 0.1 means how much? 7 rupees, we can say 7 rupees, 8 rupees per GB as such. So deep digital penetration, because of this ultra low data cost, in the entire country we have seen a deep digital penetration. We have mass digital inclusion as well as such. So that is the reason behind this. Okay, what are the public infrastructure where we are sharing data? Aadhaar, UPI based data, we have My Government platform, e-Sanjeevani related to healthcare based data and all that. So all these are basically today acting as a backbone of service delivery. Okay, you can imagine, like now you're going to airport, before you have to carry all this tickets and everything like that, right? Your ID card and all that. You have to stay in line and show it to everyone. Okay, so the personnel there has to look, match your photo, match your ID photo and all that. Now through Aadhaar, what you can do? Now your face is your identity. So now you go to airport and not have to take out anything. Okay, your this ID card or anything like that. You simply go stand in the front of camera and they take your photograph. Okay, and then you can simply go because gate opens up. So the entire backbone of such kind of services we can say is what? The development of digital public infrastructure. And because so much data is being currently handled by government and other agencies, we need to have data privacy laws as such. That results into the imperative data privacy. Okay, now you can see large scale personal data generation, rising cyber threats. That also is the reason why we have to be aware and ensure that data is not violated. Phishing and ransomware attack. India is considered as the 7th largest country, which has the 7th in number rank, which has reported highest number of cyber frauds, digital attacks, cyber attack and all that. Identity theft and UPI frauds are increasing. And this is the recent data. In 2024 itself, how many cybercrime complaints we have observed here? 1.91 across India. So very, very high number. If you go to 2013, this number was just 50,000. So in 13 years, from 50,000 to 1.9 million. That is the exponential growth of cybercrime, right? So very, very alarming. And that is why there is need for privacy by design whenever we're talking about government architecture or data collection and all that. Plus strong laws are also required to ensure that data is not violated. Then next we have is delta submergence across the world as such. Okay, recent report was there related to it. Okay, so deltas, if you look at briefly, first of all, what is delta? How would you define delta? Okay, it is a depositional landform. What forms deltas? What kind of physical we can say structure form delta? Say rivers. So rivers are carrying sediment along with themselves, and before they enter the sea near the mouth, what do? They deposit all the sediments they are carrying, and this deposited landform is what we are calling as delta. Shape also we have discussed in river system: triangular delta, arcuate delta, okay, lobate delta. In Mississippi, I told you we have bird foot delta and all that. So based on shape, you have multiple different type of delta. Now what we have concluded about delta is seen from this diagram. What is going on in the deltaic areas across many rivers of the world, including many rivers of India? Land is continuously subsiding. It is sinking, we can say, to some extent. And at the same time, what is going on due to global warming? Sea level rising. So land is sinking, sea level is rising. And that is why we can say in coastal areas, the impact of sea level rise will be much more higher. Okay, because both is leading to much more relative high rise in the sea level as such. So due to this, large part of coastal areas in the coming years, decades, would become unlivable in nature. We will lose all this land and the people have to be displaced. They have to move, okay, we can say inland and all that. So that is because of gradual sinking of land surface and the reason is both natural as well as what reason? Human reason. Natural reason is simple, load. More and more sediments are accumulating, pressure will increase, what will happen? It will go down. Plus plate tectonics. Many times we have up warping, down warping that we have discussed. Okay, human, what do we have? Main reason is what? Groundwater extraction. Like for example, suppose this is deltaic sediments, and this is deltaic sediment, and below that, because this is sediment which is porous in nature, when rainfall occurs, river water occurs, it is flowing through it, what happens? River water keep on percolating. It creates what we can call as groundwater reservoir. So we can say the entire deltaic sediments is resting over what? Groundwater reservoir to some extent. It is providing its base support. If you extract more and more groundwater, then what is being recharged? What will happen to this level? Reduce. If this level reduces, what will happen to delta? Start to go down. So basically someone is pulling the support from your base, okay, from below. That is the reason why we can say the groundwater extraction has resulted in delta submergence, plus this urban load also, more and more construction we are doing, and due to this also what happens, land mass has begun to kind of sink gradually. So geological process obviously it is, but now because a lot of people, many people in the world are living in the coastal areas, it is turning into a crisis, we can say as such. In India, which deltas are undergoing submergence? These are the notable delta. Ganga Brahmaputra, largest delta in entire India or world? World. Largest delta in entire world spread across India, Bangladesh. Brahmani river flowing through Odisha. Then we have Mahanadi river we have discussed in the peninsular river system. Godavari we have discussed. Kaveri we have discussed. Kabani river. Kabani is tributary of which river? Krishna? Kaveri. Okay, so Kabani is tributary of Kaveri river. So where Kabani and Kaveri meets, there also you have deposition of sediment, and if you go from here nearby 2 hours, okay, you have Kabani Safari also is done. So that is where also we are seeing submergence. Kolkata, where you have the Hooghly Delta, there also what we are seeing, major urban hotspot, there also sinking and submergence is being recorded as such. So Kolkata means Hooghly Delta, distributary of Ganga river we can say. So these deltas were studied, these deltas is where submergence is being observed. What is the key finding? If you look here, more than 90% areas affected in major of the deltas, subsidence is more than sea level rise. Okay, so subsidence or sinking is more, sea level rise is relatively lesser, 4 millimeter, 3 millimeter, but overall net loss will be of 7 millimeter as such, okay, because both are adding here. Brahmani and Mahanadi are most affected delta as far as India is concerned. Both of them, if you look here, 77% of the Brahmani region, 69% of the Mahanadi delta, they are sinking at what rate? Alarming rate, 5 millimeter every year. They are going down as such. Average sink rate of deltas at the world is 2 to 3 millimeter. So it is 2 to 3 times faster as far as the rate of sinking is concerned. So in these areas, in the coming decade, we would see the impact as such. Environmental impact will also be there. Why? Because what will happen? Coastal flooding, right? Because this delta is sinking, land mass is sinking, water level will naturally rise. If water level rises, what would you see in the coastal areas? Flooding like instances. Permanent land loss, because land that sink or that has sunk below the sea level cannot be used for living purposes, okay, other purposes. Plus, as seawater moves closer and closer toward the land, what we will see in the fertile areas also? Intrusion of salt water. Salinity level will increase. If salinity level increases, fertility will reduce. If fertility reduces, what else will be impacted? Crop productivity, agricultural productivity and all that. Okay, as you see in the case of Gujarat coast, I have told you in the physiographical region that due to the high tides, what we have seen, large part of the coastal plain has become infertile in nature, cannot be used for production of any crops. Wetland and mangrove will also be degraded, okay, because they will get submerged under the sea level. Socio-economic also impact we can see, because many people are dependent upon coastal areas for fishing activity, agriculture and all that. Their livelihood will be impacted. Whatever infrastructure we have in the coastal areas, like ports for example, okay, or you have the power grids, windmills, many times you have tidal energy plant that you have, they might also face a problem in the future. What will it lead to? People cannot live because land they have lost as such. Recently in Panama we have seen people have to be evacuated from island because of the rise in sea level. So same thing we can see in the coastal regions of India also, especially eastern coast of India is more prone. because it is more flattish in nature. Okay, so this is also very important fact to remember. Which coast of India will be more impacted by sea level rise? Answer would be eastern coast of India. That is where we have deltaic regions. Weak groundwater regulation is the region. CRZ ignores subsidence. That is also point here. Way forward is simple. What we have to do? Manage them in integrated manner as such, okay, to understand how they are sinking, why they are sinking. Groundwater has to be regulated because that is the biggest reason. Today we will not have any kind of proper regulation of groundwater. How much should be extracted? Okay, recharge rate should be more than extraction rate. That should be ensured as such. So groundwater table is not shrinking faster. Urban zoning to understand where we can construct, coastal regulation zoning we can say, mangrove restoration, satellite monitoring and overall policy integration. Okay, we can understand, because first thing to solve any problem, what is the first thing you require? Information, data, understanding, then only you can frame policies. Where you can do that from? What you can use it? Satellite. That is how we have monitored actually. The European satellite was used here to monitor how fast the deltas of the world are sinking as such. Okay, so such data should be collected at regular interval to understand the rate and all that. Now coming to some questions we can look at with reference to the first topic we have discussed is Sela Pass. Consider the following statement. Connects Tawang. Okay, you can go through them. Tell me what should be the correct option. 1, 2 and 3. Right. So it is maintained year round by, we have discussed, BRO, Border Roads Organization. Light close to enough actual control. Okay, to played no role, that is incorrect. Know that Chinese forces, they entered India through which pass? Sela Pass itself. Okay, that is where you have the battle. It's just one thing. Then National Security Guard, NSG. What is the correct statement? One, two, four. Right. Why 3 is incorrect? A special action group we have discussed. It is largely taking personnel from Indian Army. It is the Special Ranger Group, SRG. It is taking personnel from CAPF and State Police as well. Plus NBDC, National Bomb Data Center. It is because National Bomb Data Center works under NSG. We are seeing here what the data, this management system of National ID, explosive devices. So NBDC would run it and operate it. Third, with reference to river deltas, consider the following statement. One, 3 and 4. Right. Why? Second, if you look, what is the statement? Delta formation is favored by strong tidal and wave action. No. Why? Because strong tidal waves, if they come and again they retreat back where? In the sea. What would they do? All the deposited sediments will be taken away by the tides. So what will happen? Delta will get reduced in area. Okay, it will cause destruction of delta as such. So that is why it is incorrect. Other things are simply deposition of sediments at river mouth, head, origin, mouth, where river enter the sea areas. Ganga Brahmaputra delta is largest delta in the world. Delta regions are usually fertile and are densely populated. So that is the case with India also. Right? So that's the point here. Now coming to the significance. So again, Sela Pass. First of all, it is in huge. Second, obviously, because it is one of the major areas along the borders. So very important from what perspective? Prelims perspective, mapping based question. Obviously, in mains will not have question about Sela Pass and all, but in mapping based question they can ask pass, which part of Himalayas are they lying in? Okay, like for example, Niti Pass, Western Himalayas, Central Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas. Okay, they can ask about Pir Panjal Pass, Western Himalayas, Central Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas. So this is very probable question based on the previous year pattern or trend analysis. Sela Pass we can say is part of which Himalaya? Eastern Himalayas, located in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, high altitude pass, and nearby you have Sela Tunnel. IT data management system, again not very important. Direct questions obviously will not be asked from it, but you can use this as a pointer, where when you are writing answer related to internal security, there many times they are asking, mention the steps taken by government to counter terrorism in the recent years. So one of the steps you can write is what? The coming of national ID management system. So many times see problem happens in internal security that people are writing whatever was done 5, 8, 10 years back. Still they are writing about NIA. You can write about it, but make sure that your answer should also include what? In last 1, 2, 3 years. What is the steps government has? What are the steps government has taken? Because that would give examiner idea that you are aware about the current events. You are not just rote learning from some old textbook and everything and all this. So make sure that you keep on adding in your internal security this notes. You cannot do it in one time. As the news keep coming, you can keep on adding it here based on which part does it perfectly fit in. Then we have delta submergence, very important question, can easily be asked because it is directly related to your syllabus. Geography syllabus, you have a topic mentioned in notification, changes in landscape or physical changes in landscape. So delta subsidence is a clear example of important major changes in landscape. Data privacy day, again not very important, just keep that in mind. Data privacy day we have celebrated, convention 108 is a European Union convention. Aircraft disaster, again not very important, but you should be aware about because it is type of disaster. Disaster management you have to study. So brief or basic reasons why aircraft disasters are taking place and how we can improve our safety record and everything. That is what we can do as such. So that's all what is required as far as this week is concerned.